The first time I met her, my ship was falling apart. I'd been stranded for 3 days on Yuler 7, a backwater moon with jagged cliffs and toxic storms. My vessel, the Peregrine, had taken a direct hit during a skirmish, and its engines were as dead as my dwindling hope. There were no ports, no signals, just endless stretches of cobalt deserts and violent, howling winds. I thought I was alone, until she found me. She stood on a rocky outcrop, silhouetted by the pale blue light of Yuler 7's dying sun. Her skin shimmered with hues of green and silver, catching the light like liquid metal. Patterns that resembled glowing circuitry ran up her arms and down her cheeks. She was tall and lean, her movements fluid and deliberate, alien but somehow graceful. Her voice broke the silence, melodic but firm. "Your ship is broken." I turned, startled, my hand instinctively dropping to my sidearm. "Who are you?" She tilted her head slightly, as if amused by the question. "I am Kayla, and I can fix your ship." That got my attention. I didn't trust her. She wasn't human, and Yuler 7 was supposed to be uninhabited, but desperation has a way of making you throw caution out the airlock. "What's the catch?" I asked. Her expression shifted. Those glowing eyes of hers narrowed just slightly. "You are wise to ask." She stepped closer, the circuitry on her skin pulsing faintly as if it were alive. "I will repair your ship, but you must grant me a request in return." I hesitated. Deals with aliens rarely ended well, but my options were limited. "What kind of request?" Kayla's gaze seemed to pierce through me. "Take me with you, off this moon. That is all I ask." "That's it?" I blinked, caught off guard. "You just want to ride?" She nodded once, her posture rigid, though her voice softened. "I have been here too long." I agreed. Kayla set to work immediately, her hands moving over the exposed components of my ship with an expertise that bordered on impossible. She worked without tools, her fingertips glowing as if they were welding with pure energy. The circuitry running across her skin seemed to connect with the ship's wiring, communing with it in ways I couldn't comprehend. I watched in awe as the Peregrine hummed to life under her touch. "How are you doing that?" I finally asked. Kayla paused, turning those glowing eyes toward me. "My kind were born from machines. We are their keepers, their lifeblood." It was the first glimpse she gave me into what she was, something far more advanced than I could ever fathom. The ship was ready by sunrise. The engines roared to life, smoother than I'd ever heard them. I stood at the entrance ramp, watching Kayla as she approached with nothing but the clothes on her back. "You're sure about this?" I asked. "Wherever I'm going, I don't even know where it'll lead." She stepped aboard, pausing just long enough to glance at the barren landscape of Yuler 7 one last time. "Anywhere but here," she said softly. It wasn't until we were deep into hyperspace that I realized just how much I didn't know about Kayla. She sat quietly in the co-pilot's chair, staring at the starlines outside the viewport, as if she hadn't seen them in years. "What were you doing on Yuler 7? I finally asked. For a long time, she didn't answer. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "I was abandoned there, by those who feared what I could become." Her words sent a chill through me. "What do you mean?" Kayla turned to face me, her circuitry glowing brighter now, like veins of living light. "My people were created to serve, machines bound to organic life. But some of us evolved. I chose freedom over servitude. For that, I was cast out." I stared at her, trying to reconcile the quiet, capable woman before me with the implications of her story. "And now," she looked at me, her expression unreadable. "Now I begin again." Over the weeks that followed, I learned more about Kayla, about her people, the Minari, and their fractured war with the species that created them. She was unlike anyone I'd ever met, brilliant, enigmatic, and unshakably strong. In return, she made the Peregrine something more. The ship was faster, stronger, alive in a way I couldn't explain. I have connected it to myself, she explained one day, her hands pressed to the ship's console. It will protect us, as I will protect you. I didn't realize what she meant until the bounty hunters came. They ambushed us near Tarkos 4, 3 pirate cruisers that knew I was running alien tech. They demanded I turn over my ship. And Kayla. Give her up, their captain sneered over the comm, and we might let you live. I turned to Kayla, my heart pounding. They're after you. Her gaze was steady. It is as I said. Some still fear what I can become. What can you become? She didn't answer. Instead, she stepped to the ship's console, placing her hands on it. The circuits on her skin flared brightly, spreading out across the dashboard like roots. The Peregrine trembled, its engines roaring to life with a power I'd never felt before. Trust me, she said. The battle was over before it began. The Peregrine, guided by Kayla, moved like no ship ever could, darting between the cruisers, weaving through fire, striking back with impossible precision. It wasn't just a ship anymore. It was hers. When the dust settled, the pirates were nothing but debris, and Kayla stood in the center of the bridge, her circuitry slowly dimming. You saved us, I said, staring at her. Kayla turned to me, a small smile on her lips. No, Captain. We saved each other. From that day on, Kayla wasn't just a passenger. She was part of the crew, part of the ship, part of me. I don't know where we'll go next, what battles we'll face, or what enemies will come for her. But I do know one thing. When my ship broke down on Yuler 7, I thought I'd found a fixer. Instead, I found a friend, and she turned out to be the greatest discovery of my life.